we don't need some opening credits here. Hello, everyone. This is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. Me and Jeff and Saber, soon to be, are going to do Half Baked, the 1988 film starring Dave Chappelle and a couple of his friends, comedians from Saturday Night Live or whatever. Yeah. So, Jeff, how you doing, sir? Excited to talk about Half Baked, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so, man. I mean, I'm always happy to see my friends, you know what I'm saying? But like Half Baked is not exactly something I'm really like super happy to talk about, to be honest
No.
with you. There's other stuff I'd rather talk about than Half Baked.
Yeah, well, it's almost the end of the year, so next December will be better movies to pick, and I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad. But anyway, so
part of reviewing movies is that you have to review bad movies. That's just part of the deal.
Oh yeah, I'm like. Yeah, there's a lot of worse movies that I don't want to talk about, like Batman and Robin, or oh my god, some other foreign movies that I don't like. It's a lot.
I don't know. I know Half Baked is really old, and like I'm a '90s guy, so I don't want to put down a '90s movie, but some of the stuff is just I don't know. Like I mean, the scenes where they show the like the sex like stuff with the guy, like with Chappelle and the chick, it's so stupid. Like it's like ridiculous. It's like I don't know. I personally I don't get that kind of humor. That like stoner humor or whatever. I don't get that kind of humor.
Yeah, it's a like it's required taste, right? With those kind of stoner movies, because they go very like far into like absurdity, and this movie does that too. One of my favorite stoner movies is this other movie called High or something like that. Not a great film, but we'll see. Hello there, Mr. Cyber. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic. How are we doing?
Very good. We're just discussing about our feelings about Half Baked. Saber, tell me, you like this film or not? I'm kind of curious.
I enjoy it. I liked it. I thought it was super funny. I'm a huge fan of Jim Breuer. A huge fan of Dave Chappelle. I love Harland Williams. I mean, it's got a great cast. I mean, those three guys alone drawed me into want to watch the film.
Of course, Cyber would like Half Baked. Of course.
Yeah.
And let me guess, Jeff doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. Yeah.
So shocking.
Yeah.
I didn't like it when I watched it when I was a kid. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, comedy. He doesn't like comedy.
Yeah.
Certain comedy, certain Cyber, as well as I do, certain comedy hits certain people differently. And this comedy that in this movie, like I love Chappelle Show, you know that. Like I love the Chappelle Show. But this movie is like this kind of humor is like really slapsticky and like stoner humor. And like I mean, I'm a stoner too, but like I don't find it that humorous. That's all.
Once again, not shocking.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, for a Dave Chappelle film here, I think it's pretty good. There's other ones that are the best. I think for Dave Chappelle, like I think Undercover Brother, not his leading film, but like his supporting role there is so funny. I think if everyone wants to see a good funny comedy with Dave Chappelle, is that movie is so funny with him. It's Conspiracy Brother. All right, let's get into the plot here. Well, whatever plot is this movie about? It's hilarious. So we follow these four stoner friends. What's it? Thurgood, Scarface, Brian, and Kenny, who all live together in New York City. They've been friends since the 70s, if I had to be specific with the timeline. So of course, Chappelle's character is a janitor at a medical lab, and he of course he's the one that orders some of the drugs from Samsung, the famous local dealer. which we'll get into the film when he becomes a major part. The other four um, do other works, like I think what is it? Kenny is a school teacher. Scarface and I think Brian work together in a burger joint. So you see that throughout the beginning, and then yeah, they're completely high. Well, except for Chappelle and Kenny, they kind of like the more like like straightforward people. Like they're not like as hot heads or stone heads like their other two friends, which is fine. So uh, one day, I say it, Kenny, the gentle kindergarten teacher, is out for a lunchy run, basically getting junk food and like drinks and pizza, and then he goes up to like this police officer's horse, and he gives it all the food, but accidentally killed a diabetic police horse called Buttercup, and he gets arrested by this event, which was so dramatic. So his friends visit him in the jail, and they are trying to think how to like raise the money for the bail for their friend Kenny to get out from prison. So let me stop there. I'll start with you, Cyber, because you like this film. Tell me what you thought about the beginning here, up to the arrest of Kenny and his his innocence. And go ahead.
I mean, the beginning of the film is pretty, basic, pretty stand forward, getting you kind of introduced to the characters. I mean, is it anything super great? I think there's some really good one-liners in this section, especially giving you kind of an idea of who's more of the stoner versus the unstony. And I definitely think that Chappelle, out of the group, it was kind of interesting to see him kind of be the more not as stony type of version, which I thought was kind of funny, because if you think about it, Jim Breuer definitely is the most stony of them all, I feel, and he is freaking hilarious at it. He cracks me the hell up. Any film he's ever in, he's always super funny, especially when he was on SNL. He playing Joe Pesci was absolutely hilarious. And so I think that he took some of that stuff that he had from SNL and brought it to this character, this stoner head person in this film. But like basically how the film kind of starts out is totally like a stoner film slash, comedy of this type of this magnitude, slapstick, type of comedy film. Would start off with, a bumbling idiot getting in trouble and the other friends having to bail them out type of deal. And you get just kind of a good idea of that. And I think it's not the greatest film, but I definitely feel that this beginning is not too bad. It's got some funny, one-liners throughout it, and I think majority of the guys do a decent job of giving you some good comedy here.
Yeah, I really agree. Yeah, it's funny to get into their lives and just seeing how they are. Yeah, I agree. Like the actor that plays, yeah, like Ritter, he's definitely the most stoner of the bunch. He's like so out there, and I towards the end of the film, what he did to help his friends from the drug dealer that they have to face off to get Kenny out of the prison is hilarious. Jeff, tell me about your thoughts on the beginning. Do you like it? What's your thoughts on the opening up to the rest of Kenny?
I mean, the rest of Kenny is stupid. Like, I mean, feeding a horse, like, or whatever, like, the far-fetchedness of like some of the humor, like, it just doesn't do anything for me. Like as a premise for the film, like that just seems kind of stupid. That like I would think that they could do something better than that. And like I don't really, I don't know. I mean, it's somewhat humorous, like the love for marijuana and all that shit type stuff or whatever, like is somewhat humorous, I guess. And like obtaining weed or whatever, like the obtaining of weed those scenes are okay, but like besides that, I mean, I don't know. I don't like the movie very much. So I mean, I don't personally care for the introduction that much. It's very easy to to fall off like watching the film right off the bat.
Yeah, it can make sense. I mean, it's very, well, it's funny. Like for a story film, I've seen a couple of story films, and it's funny. This movie, like, I was kind of asking you guys thoughts on this. Like, do you think this is a tame comedy film? Like, do you think they could have pushed forward with their comedy with the stoner stuff a bit more compared to like other stoner films have you seen in your life? Like, what are you guys' opinion on the comedy here? I think it works in certain areas.
I don't like it. It's not my deal. It's that this kind of shtick in this movie. It's not my humor. I like stuff that's more raunchy. This is really lighthearted. I don't like Jim Breuer in this movie at all. I don't like this kind of humor.
Cyber.
I mean, for what it was trying to get across, it gets across. It was supposed to try to be in a stoner film about stoners that get in trouble, basically. Now, Tamra Davis, who directs this, you might recognize that name. She's directed a few other things over the years that were a little better than this. And, this film is one of those, films that so many people absolutely love. They absolutely think it's fantastic. They think it's the greatest thing ever. And I remember watching it for the first time thinking, okay, this is okay. I got some good comedy out of it. I got some interesting things about it. And, I enjoyed it for its most part. And I definitely think that it had a lot of great potential to become a cult classic, and which it kind of has become that. It's got kind of that status. And definitely, I think the cast alone, it has been great in other things. And, what they brought to this, I thought was, fun enough to be enjoyable. So that's kind of my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed the humor here. I thought it was very funny. I mean, there's a lot of references they did that I didn't understand. Like, yeah, obviously when we get into when they were robbing the medical lab, one of the friends dressed up as one of the criminals from the more dark, gritty film called Dead Presidents. If you haven't seen that movie, there's Keith David, and it's the follow up to the directors that did Menace to Society. If you never understood that reference of why he's dressing up in that black, the white makeup and all that is from that movie. Or you got Tommy Chon here, as being one of the prison's, cellmates that's keeping Kenny's, alive from the other, cellmate, and obviously he's the most famous stoner of pop culture. You think about it, him and who was the other one? His other friend, I am forgetting his name is, but yeah. So it's you got that, and for the raunchy comedy, as Jeff said before, it's it doesn't go too far with the raunchy. Which, if you're not a big fan of raunchy, this movie is for you guys. It's not for Jeff because it doesn't have that. If you really want no raunchy comedy or like that far that goes into like crossing the line for you guys, this movie doesn't do that. It's a very good tame, but like very rated R kind of juvenile humor. If you guys will enjoy that. So getting back to the plot here, after the the arrest, the friends are forced to like raise 1 billion to bail him out before the other prisoners take advantage of his gentle nature, which we see here. We see this black cellmate has an interest in him. Either his food or dropping a soap, which I was laughing at, which was hilarious. But we got the one nice person, how you say, Tommy Chan, who's the Squirrel Master. That's his name in the film, which is cool. And in the meantime, the friends, visit him, constantly in the prison. But then Chappelle's character meets Mary J. Meets Mary J. in the prison, and they start doing like a romantic relationship, which is start to like strain in the film because of his marijuana smoking is something that she's very against. But same time, here is where I think the plot gets moving here. So Chappelle, gets asked one day by scientists at the lab to get a pound of, I say, cannabis from the storage, and he freaks out that this is marijuana, and he realized that Sens had him get it, which is he's very grateful for him, and he did a good thing. He gave him some free weed, which is hilarious, which I just laughed. I actually like this scene. This was very funny when he has this sense. It's like, smells familiar, and then the lady gives him this like big pack of weed, and it's like, oh my god, it's weed. He's like so excited, like he's unable to like write his name like clearly. He's like a little gibberish. So I thought it was very funny, and then the doctor is, I mean, the scientist is hilarious. Like he thanks him for giving him the weed. He gives him some for free, which is hilarious. Um, so like Chappelle's character brings it home, right? And three of them gets high. We get this very hilarious, stone like sequence of them flying above the air. And by the way, during this sequence, we get a guy in a couch just randomly pump up in the film, and it's hilarious. He's just there sleeping in the couch. Um, and he floats too during this scene, and of course, the three floats outside, and they go visit Kenny, and it is, of course, Chappelle feels sorry for him, and so he's like, okay, we need to get him out of there. He's not gonna make it alive, so they did do that. So, Scarface, the other, the I guess the Latino friend, gets the idea to have Chappelle to steal more of the medical drug from his work, so that the trader can sell it for money to free Kenny, which do. So throughout this film, we see, them, taking the drug from the lab, distributing it under the alias Mr. Good Guy, if I'm correct, and they get the money, and then the same time you see Chappelle do um making progress with the relationship with Mary Jane. We got the hilarious thing he's trying to keep cheap because he only had $8 when he was asked to get to have a date with her, and that was very funny for me. But yeah, so Jeff, let me go to you here. So starting from like when Chappelle gets the weed from his job, and then up to them starting their business to raise money to get Kenny out. What do you thought about that sequence? And the relationship with the girlfriend. I know you don't like it. I don't like it either. But go ahead.
I don't. I mean, I don't care about the relationship with the girlfriend. The girl's cute. The girl's cute. I mean, what else is there to really say about her? You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't have much of a career. So like, there's a reason for that. I mean, who the fuck goes on a date with a chick with $8? That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, that makes no fucking sense at all. Who goes out to hang out with a chick with $8? Like, that shit is fucking stupid as fuck. The only thing I thought that was actually like somewhat funny was in some of the scenes you get when they're selling weed, where you get the different like appearances by different actors and stuff like that in the film. That's somewhat entertaining. Like, I like that I thought that was okay. But I don't know. The plot's just really not that entertaining. They got to sell weed to get the bail money for Kenny or whatever. Like, okay, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't find it all that funny.
Yeah. I have a question. The Sir Smoke Lot, is that Dave Chappelle playing that character just like he did with a couple of his characters in the Dave Chappelle show? The guy with the golden teeth and
that's him.
Yeah, because I think that one, I think they shouldn't use him as the character to follow, because I felt like that was funny. I'm surprised that they didn't do multiple characters in this movie. And yeah, you brought up the celebrity cameos, right? We got Snoop Dogg in one of the cameos. I thought that was funny. We saw him here. Yeah, a lot of prominent actors like from all black, or high movies you've seen. They're in this movie. Okay. No, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, the girlfriend thing was weird. I mean, look, Dave Chappelle was trying to be cheap. He did have money, so I think what he was trying to do at the date was reasonable. I mean, I don't accept taking a homeless man's money, but I mean, he did his best to make the date work. So Cyber, your thoughts on the Chappelle getting the weed from his work up to them getting their business up and running?
So yeah, when he goes to acquire the brick of weed, that was funny. His expressions and everything. I totally get what they were trying to go for as like that kind of comedic timing there, and that cracked me up. That was really good. And then especially when he goes to bring back the weed to the scientist, and he's like going back and forth trying to keep the weed, which was super funny. And I got that as well. I thought that was super funny. It definitely was meant to kind of be like the total opposite of what you would think in reality would be. And that's kind of what they were going for there. And, when we get to them deciding to, create the business to get Harland Williams' character out of jail, that was just kind of like, just way out there, like just way bizarre, but at the same time, you if you understand what the humor is going for, you get it. Because when Dave Chappelle wrote this with the fellow gentleman that he wrote this film with, he said in interviews that he's like, I wanted this to be so crazy and bizarre and out there. I want you to he wanted everyone to like double take when he did certain things. And he was trying to make sure that he wanted to give them complete opposite of what what really should be happening. And that comes down to like the whole dating thing where he's only going out with $8 with the girlfriend. That was freaking hilarious because like usually if you're taking out a woman, whining and dining them, there's no budget, there's no price range, you're doing what you got to do to impress the chick. In this instance, it's hilarious because he is saying that he's only got $8 and like all the kind of funny things that happen in between. It's funny. It's so stupid. It's funny, And going back to kind of what Jeff said about the lightheartedness, of the comedy, I get that, but at the same time, I think that it's that kind of stupid humor like that is what really gets me chuckling. And I love the raunchy too stuff. I love all that kind of stuff, But I think all different types of humors, a little bit of each and different things is fun. And I think that Half Baked in this sequence here does a pretty good job of giving us a little bit of each of those types of things. And like the whole guy in the couch thing, as you were mentioning before, Andres, that to me was kind of like they were trying to do the raunchy thing by having him in the couch to an extent. Like they were trying to make a sexual innuendo out of that. But it really didn't play off as well as it could have. And, I think that, it had a lot of potential there, but they failed on that, unfortunately. But I tell you, all the scenes with Harland Williams in the prison are hilarious with Tommy Chong. Cracks me the hell up because Harland Williams is one of those great improv comedians that is just so freaking good. And if I remember correctly, a lot of the lines that Harland Williams did in this film were improv. Majority of the cast, it was all improv. Like they had like kind of a set script, but a lot of them improved in their scenes. And maybe that's another reason why the film isn't considered as great as it could have been, is because sometimes improv doesn't always come off and people get the joke. And I get that. I totally get that. And that happens with me on certain films too, as well. But at the same time, I think that the improving in this film was just a little too much, and probably why it didn't come across as well. But this section here, just like Jeff was saying about the cameos, Snoop Dogg popping up was hilarious. And, the different little things like that were super funny. But I think overall it was pretty fun, pretty funny, and I thought decent. I think my favorite cameo is one of the prison scenes. I don't know if we've gotten to that part yet, but Bob Saget popping up was absolutely freaking hilarious.
No, I think we're in this section. I think when Bob pops up, because yeah, I agree, that was a very funny cameo. Oh no, I think yeah, it was like he had to like, what was it? His girlfriend had to tell Dave that you need to give up your drug, like the marijuana, so we can continue this relationship. And so he had to try to, give up weed, but then he fails and he goes to like the rehab intervention or whatever. meeting, and then we get that box Commander there, which is hilarious. He talks about like, "Hey, you you have to suck your dick so you can get drugs, huh?" And it's like, no, I haven't. It's like, well, good, you know. It like goes down, and I like how that person's like, the crazy person like throws stuff at him, and is like, "Hey, we need to start saying boo to him," and like they literally did. Oh my god, that scene was hilarious. I just love that scene. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. He looked like still young. Like he looked still like that, Full House, but a little chubby at that point. Anyway. So we'll get to there. When we I guess I mean whenever the plot show us there. So when the success of their business grows, right? They have enough to raise, you know, um to like maybe help Kenny out. But during this time, the some of the boys start to like use the money and buy expensive things. So like here we get the dog Rex. By the way, the death of the dog is hilarious. I think that's so hilarious. Like I like how Scarface. Um. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was like, yeah, it came out 3 years. Yeah. Yeah. Like Scarface is angry that they killed the dog, which is hilarious. I mean, I can't believe he bought a dog. And then, of course, Brian, right, Brian, or yes, Brian, he buys this bag of like, I don't know, sand or something like that. It's from a famous person. Um, I thought that was a little weird but funny. But at the same time, they actually raise awareness for this local drug dealer from the name Samson Simpsons, and he's like he sees this, so he attacks their house, and then of course, like the guy on the couch is still there, and so obviously. Scarface talks to him and tells him that he wants to meet the yeah he I say like fake the leader to be Jamaica. So like Dave later will disguise himself as a Jamaican person, right? So Sansom exhort them for like about what 2000 $2,000 billion a week or something like that. Uh, for the business. And then same time here we see like Mary Jane dumping Dave Chappelle because of he finds out that he's stealing drugs because of the phone number from Mr. Nice Guy, right? So we get that, and then this is where we get the funny part here. Of the France trying to plan a robbery of the medical laboratory to increase their earnings and not to defend out the drug dealer, and this is hilarious. So they're trying to like try to rob them. You see, Dave Chappelle having the two bags, which is hilarious. You got um the was it Scarface dressing up as one of the dead presidents, like disguises. Have you seen the movie Dead Presidents, the 1986 film? And then of course Brian being Brian, just being high as usual. While they do that, the plan goes wrong, and how you say it, they all get arrested, and they try to execute a plan to like uh, with the police to like get the drug dealer in trouble. So let me stop there. Um, let me start with Cyber. When you talk about their business growing, this is where we see the cameo from the Full House here, up to them getting arrested by the police for robbing the medical lab for more drugs.
This section is pretty much like the rest of it. It's got good moments, and it moves the film along. And it kind of gets to the point where you're kind of like when they get all of them get captured, you're kind of like arrested. You're like, what? Like seriously, man, you guys got all arrested? Like, come on, this is just crazy. And but like the adventure that they take on, their business growing and stuff, and basically kind of pulls in this other real big drug dealer is super hilarious, because this drug dealer you definitely can see is like almost like mob mentality type of deal going on here, and he's definitely like, I'll kill somebody if I need to type of deal. He's that type of guy, and you just kind of like, Like, how did these guys are so stupid? They didn't realize they got in with basically like, the mob of wherever they're supposed to be. I forget where they're supposed to be located. Is this supposed to be New York, LA?
Yeah, no, they're in New York. They're in New York.
Okay. And so they that whole deal is is like so stupid, but at the same time it's funny, and that just shows really good writing on Dave Chappelle and the other gentleman that wrote it with him. And the whole girlfriend thing, like everyone's mentioned, the girlfriend thing, they could have totally done without that storyline. I think they could have totally done without that. It's not like it really pulled or put any, like, I feel like really added anything to the storyline, especially because you already had this huge storyline about them trying to get Harland Williams out and then trying to get their business going, and kind of that really was kind of the main story. So you really could have just focused on those two things and not have to pull in these other aspects. And the whole rehab scene is super hilarious. Him going to rehab and everything. And him like giving a speech and like he changes his clothes and stuff like that was like super funny. It cracks me the hell up because it's almost kind of like how in Undercover Brother, when Undercover Brother gets so undercover and it becomes Anton, and he's like wearing those duck shoes and shit like that. And you're just kind of like, what happened to Undercover Brother? I am Anton and I don't speak with ebonics. It's the funniest freaking thing ever. And that's kind of how this scene kind of makes me think. It makes me think of kind of like that. And which I can totally see Chappelle coming up with that thought process and idea for his comedy, especially if you're a fan of the Chappelle and you saw the Chappelle Show or really any of the movies he was in, over that course of the late 90s, mid to late 90s. His characters were all very similar. I mean, Pinball from Con Air, he was a pot smoking airhead, and stuff like that. Exact same thing. Could kind of like Conspiracy Brother a little bit too, as well. Like, he's like, I know I gotta be careful here, and Chappelle is just was such a great comedian, and I feel he's kind of nowhere at the same level as he was in the 90s. And this film was kind of, I felt like, his magnum opus of his like career kind of started to go a different direction. Because definitely this wasn't his best movie of the 90s, most definitely. But at the same time, it still was a good enough of a role that kept him in their mind and want to watch more of him. So I think he gets that point across very well in this section. But such a great section. Like I said, has some downs. It's got some good liners. It's got some good moments. Like I said, the Bob Saget scene is absolutely hilarious. Him popping up in this was like so funny because I remember the first time watching this and he popped up and I'm like, is that fucking Danny Tanner from fucking Full House? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what's he doing in this R-rated raunchy movie? I'm like, what the hell? And just remember thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, like he's a lot different than I thought he was on Full House. Because, if you watched that show for all the years it was on, all 9 seasons, or 8 or 9, 87 to 95, 8, you got so used to him being Danny Tanner. And, if you didn't know anything of his other stand-up or anything like that, you automatically just thought he was Danny Tanner. So seeing him for the first time in that and seeing he was so different, I was like, holy crap, I would have never guessed that. But anyways, like I said, decent sequence, lots of great funny parts going on in it. Like I said, it's got ups and downs. And overall, I thought it did a okay job in progressing the story.
Yeah, it did run for 8 seasons. I just checked. Full House, crazy. Crazy it ran that far. Someone asks here. We have a commenter here, and he wants to ask us about the henchwoman. What do you think about the henchwoman here? I thought they were hot. I thought they had great bodies and they kick ass. So kind of question for you guys. What you thought about that?
I guess, yeah, they were hot, but I mean, but I don't know. They were kind of stupid, man. I don't know.
Saber.
Yeah, I mean, they were good looking. I mean, other than that, I mean, they weren't super huge roles. They were just basically there to be eye candy. So, I mean, there's nothing more to it. They're eye candy. Pretty much basic is what they were there for.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they were okay here. The person that plays the drug dealer, his name is what is it, Clarence Williams the third. He's a great actor. If you don't know him, he's from the police TV show Bon Squad. The most famous role that I know him from was the Tales from the Hood, the great '90s horror movie. That's like it's similar to the Tales from the Crypt. Having multiple stories. That movie is a great. It's one of the early like horror comedies, like similar to Get Out or Us. If you've seen the Jordan Peele films, really great film. He sadly passed away like a couple of years ago. He was in other films like Megan Gansker. Great actor. I was surprised he was in this movie as the drug dealer because I thought he was great. He's so funny. He has a great voice. And then you brought up this other person that played the hitchman with the Catan store. I don't know who she is. She was okay. I mean, as Jeff said before, I mean, they're just there to be showing off and, their physique and all that. Oh, we're talking about cameos. We got the other lady from Mystery Man. I forgot her name. What was it? Jenny, she was in the Mystery Man and she was in the Reality Bites. She was here as one of the
Janine Garofalo.
Janine Garofalo, yeah. She was there. She was funny. I actually like her cameo. Like, it's like, you want to hear my poetry? And like Dave Chappelle was like, no. It was funny to see her in this movie. I was kind of surprised she was here. So thank you. I cannot pronounce your name. It's very important. So I'm really sorry, Mr. C. Let me call you that. Thank you for coming on this episode. So that's really cool. Let me show the cameo for that Full House actor because I agree with Jeff. Cyber. Yes. I think there's a great cameo in this film. So let me do it right now. And should be ready.
Man, that first day of sobriety sucked. And I realized something. I was a real irritable guy when I wasn't smoking marijuana. I couldn't stop thinking about getting high. And that's when I decided it was time to get help. Hi, everyone. My name is Thurgood. Hi. I'm here today because I'm addicted to marijuana.
Hell no. You in here for some marijuana? Marijuana? Man, this is some bullshit.
Marijuana is not a drug. I used to suck dick for coke.
I seen them.
Now that's an addiction, man. You ever suck some dick for marijuana?
Huh?
No, I can't say I have.
I didn't think so.
Boo this man!
I'm sorry, I had to show that. That was very funny. He's like, boo this person. It's like everyone just throwing stuff at him. Oh my god, that cracks me up. Jeff, any thoughts on that section, sir? Do you have any thoughts on the them getting arrested and all that?
I mean, not really. I don't know. Like I said, that part of the movie, I had a hard time paying attention to what was going on. Like I was trailing off here and there. Like not really staying with the film just because it was kind of boring. Them having to go on to commit a crime or whatever, or whatever heist or whatever was stupid as fuck. And the whole dead presidents thing was really dumb. The guy looked stupid. The guy looked stupid as fuck. And the scene with the guy talking about I suck dick and all that shit is funny. Don't get me wrong, that's funny. But other than that, there's very few really all that funny moments really for me in the movie. So yeah, I mean, the guy that plays the main villain or whatever is entertaining, I guess. The actor that you mentioned or whatever is all right. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a very stupid movie. The robbery was so stupid. I mean, first, how Dave Chappelle doesn't know that there was alarm. Like I get the doors are not locked, but like you should know your alarm is still activated. Oh, you know what's funny during the robbery? I know it's stupid, but I like how the guards didn't do anything. They just watched to see what they were gonna do, and it's like I was like, wow, lousy cops. Anyway, and Cyber brought up the city. We're in New York City. It's just weird that we're not like we see was it the Brooklyn Bridge or I don't know the bridge whatever that we used to see in New York, right? And we don't even see other like famous attraction or like location of New York that we usually see, like films like Adam Sandler's films, like like Mr. Deeds or Anger Management. Like we see like the stuff like the Statue of Liberty or Empire State Building. I'm surprised we didn't see any of that in this movie. So I'm like, because I thought we were in Canada as Cyber was like we were fronting in the city. I was like, are we in Canada or Boston? And I was like, no, we're in New York. Because like beginning to say we're in New York or something like that. But yeah. So let's get back to the plot here, whatever this plot is. So they get arrested, and the police, are talking to the three guys here, right? And they're trying to make a deal with these guys, and so they kind of did struck up a deal by having one of them wear a wire to meet with the drug dealer, Simpson, and so while I say they do that, before they go, they smoke weed before because they kind of are not going to be confident during this meeting, right? So they did that. So they meet him. They try to they're getting some evidence, right? But previously, the weeds of the smoke kind of affects the two cops, and they fall into very like hysterical and very like out there like vibes, and so the police detectives failed to revive as backup since they are high, and so now the friends are able to take out the Simpsons henchmen. They started having a hot fight there, and they do like this Batman. If anyone's seen the what is it the Batman 60 show? Sorry, I don't know why. Like I'm a Batman fan, so the Batman 60 show if is more like that. Like Final Battle. If you've seen that show, the final part where like Batman and Robin beats up all the Rose Gallery and their henchmen towards the end of the episode, and we see that, and then we got the very hilarious scene because one of the convicts here showed up, talked about the blonde athlete henchman with the nunchucks. She's attractive, but the funny thing is we see a little boob. I thought that would be exciting for Jeff. Like we saw a little bit of the boob when she attacked Brian, and yeah, I guess Scarface attacked her, and she punched her, and so we got some of the girls are taking down here. So this is the fight that this nice commentator just bringing up a couple times here. It's okay. It's just a very silly like homage to the Batman 60 show, and finally the cops arrive and they hesitate, save the day, by taking the credit, and so the friends are out of the drug dealer. In exchange of that, they made a deal with them to get Kenny out from the prison, which they did. And so after that, we get Dave Chappelle meeting up with Mary Trey to tell her that he's giving up with the drugs and wants to get back to her. And and then the film's end with their reunion. That's pretty much it. And let me start with Jeff here. What you thought about the final climax here? You thought it was good. And did you chance to see the post credit scene, because they had a post credit scene, but it's more of a comedic thing. So go ahead.
I didn't know there was a post credit scene. I had no idea. I didn't watch. Anytime I've ever watched it, I never knew. I mean, again, I don't really care for the movie that much. Like it's not that like the ending of it is not that good. Like it's not that funny. like weak ass Dave Chappelle. Like he's such a weak ass in the movie with that chick. He's like a little bitch with her, like all the time, like in the bedroom, he's like a little bitch to her and everything, you know what I'm saying? Under all these pictures and all this shit, going on his $8 dates and shit. Like, come on, bro. What the fuck is that? So I don't know, man. Like they had to like set up the dude or whatever with the cops or whatever, like undercover brother or whatever, or some shit. Like, and like the Chappelle's character was like pretending to be Jamaican, and then he came back and he wasn't Jamaican anymore. And
No.
right, I mean, saying like,
Yeah, that was funny.
What the fuck is that, bro? So I don't know, man. I don't know about this movie, bro. I guess if some people like this movie, good for them. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like it that much. I'm never gonna watch it again. That's pretty much how I feel about it.
All right. Hey, I feel you. Yeah. I thought it was funny, so I think it was okay. Anyways, Saber, what you thought about the final climax, and do you knew about the post-credit scene? I mean, it's just like a PC commercial. If anyone knows, like Dave Chappelle and his friends, and with the like younger versions of themselves from the beginning of the flashback, we see the film. They're all together and they talked about, oh, drugs are good, like take them, and then you can do well in school and all that. It's just a very funny like PC commercial that's stupid. Anyway, Cyber, go ahead. What are your thoughts on the third act and all that?
I mean, the climax of the film is pretty funny. I enjoyed it. I think, them going undercover for the cops to get Clarence William III's character is absolutely hilarious. Clarence William III, though, the first time I ever heard his name was in the film House Guest with Sinbad from 1994. And he calls himself Clarence William III when he's trying to get a plane ticket. And I remember hearing that name and going, who the hell is Clarence William III? So, at that time, 94, we didn't have, access ready internet at the time. So, you had to research it a little more by going to a library or something like that. And so over the years, I looked him up and see what kind of stuff he was in Purple Rain and stuff like that. And I just always, that name, every time I hear it, all I can think of is House Guest 1994. So I love that he was in this film. I thought he was hilarious as the main like henchman bad guy. And I appreciated him. I thought he did a great job. I thought he brought kind of like that 70s era kind of like Black Dynamite type of deal, like bad guys and stuff like that. So I really liked his character. And so the fighting sequence, of course, were so batshit crazy and horrible. You cannot not laugh because it's just so ridiculous. And the fact that they got Jerry Garcia to make a cameo at the end here, or he's like the spirit thing, is absolutely hilarious. That they used to knock him out was absolutely awesome. Loved it. Just to see Jerry Garcia there was hilarious because this was probably one of the last things he did before he passed away in 95. So they must have filmed. I have no idea where they got him, but he had just recently passed away. And I thought that was super funny that they decided to do that for that to capture Clarence William III's character. But the head of it, I think, is hilarious because she's like supposed to be so like great at her sword play and all that kind of stuff, and yet at the same time, you just can't help but go, "Hey, girl, eye candy, yes." It's not even. It's just like you're like, I can't take you seriously fighting. You're too cute. You just can't do it. And it just wasn't like, I don't feel she was very badass like, because there are several actresses that have been in roles like that where they played badass characters and they were attractive and everything, and they seemed badass. This chick, she just didn't seem like that at all. And you're just kind of like, I don't think I've ever seen you in anything else or heard your name in anything else. I have no idea. But at the same time, I think that she did, I thought, a decent job for what the role was. And I thought she added to Clarence William III's, people. As far as the post-credit scene, I saw it. I thought it was hilarious. like making this like little commercial thing was absolutely hilarious, and just totally something I feel Dave Chappelle would do. And you're just kind of like, this is like an infomercial. You're trying to sell something. You're trying to sell me something, Dave. Definitely trying to sell me something. And so I think, it definitely was a funny little thing at the very end. If you watch the credits, little extra stuff. And but I mean, the whole process of this film, it just was super like all over the place. And so this like climactic ending, you're kind of like finally getting kind of that end piece to all this like crazy shit that's been going on. And you're kind of like, okay, that's how it ends. All right. If you say so, good. So overall, okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was surprised that they like pay off the plot points. Like I was surprised that Kenny did survive. Like he actually got out of prison. I was surprised about that, and I was surprised that like we went forward with the relationship. It's like, oh yeah, he's actually moving on and tried to commit to this relationship. I was laughing at. I like the reason he's committed to this relationship because he just wants to have sex. It's like it's better than like having drugs or pussy or something like that. So I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, and yeah, like if like Dave Chappelle, like when I was growing up, when I watched the show, he always did the commercials. You remember? I remember one commercial from the show. I don't know if you guys remember this. There was like this chicken thing that he was doing the PC, and then like I think it was for his sex, and then he's like, "Oh, try to eat this, and like will make you be good for sex," and then like his his thing was starting to pop up a little bit because it was growing, and I remember that PC. It cracked me up. I don't know what was that PC commercial, but it was in the Dave Chappelle show, and he makes so many funny commercials in that show. I was like one of the best. I disagree. I think he's still funny. I don't know if it was you, Jeff, or Cyber. I think he's still the same Dave Chappelle. Like he's not like he talked about this. Like I like that he didn't like fall into the like really horrible like PC like culture that we have with comedy. I like that he stay away from Hollywood. And like haven't been absorbed in that like money machine like several comedians have been like like Adam Sandler or a couple of comedians like that. Like I like that he stayed true to himself. I think he's actually getting better as a comedian. I thought he's still funny. He's doing all these like great comedies that's just poking fun. Everything from culture and politics. It's like hilarious. You haven't seen his stand-ups; they're still amazing. He's still amazing. He's still funny as Dave Chappelle. I just love that. I appreciate that he didn't like stay so hard on the Hollywood stuff because like if you stay long, you're gonna lose your edge and like you're gonna be controlled by so many of these like money making people as we've seen before. But let's get out of that. Ratings. I'll start with you, Cyber. What's your rating on the film? And I'll plug you out, and Jeff as well.
I give it a 7. I give it a
Awesome.
7 out of 10.
Jeff.
I'll give it a 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's better than I thought he would give it.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a 1 or a 0. That's cool. All right. Hey, I mean, it wasn't as bad as. Oh, what was the worst movie we saw? Oh God. I mean, it's better than Acolyte. It's better than a couple of things we've seen recently. It's better than The Crow, folks. It's better than the remake Crow, right? So I was happy to see this film. I watched this over that movie for God's sake. All right, so let me plug you guys out. I'll start with you. What's your name? Jeff, right? Jeff. True Knowledge Man.
What's your name, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I just had to do it. I just need to make a joke, and that's it. So, sir, God damn it, what's the sure? All right, tell me what we have to this week. We are going to do Dune and something else on Friday. Tell me what we're going to have the MC Bleeding Edge.
Oh, I'm not sure. I have to look. I forget what movie is Friday. It's Glory.
Your pick.
Yeah, Glory.
It's Glory.
Yeah.
It's Glory. Yep.
So that's really cool. That's an awesome movie. Starring Matthew Broderick and Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. Please check us on Friday. And tomorrow we're going to be doing Prophecy Episode 2 review. So all three of us are going to do that. Time Cop Nation.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. We will be doing that.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. So now let me go over to Cyber here. I got his channel here. And tell me, sir, what you have going up in your channel. And hold on, let me get to your channel. My bad. There we go. Proceed.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Anywho, if you enjoy me here on the panel, over here on the Pop Culture Nation, as I like to call it, you can check out my solo content. You can find me under Cyberneck Shark. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, pretty much anywhere, Patreon, etc. As you can see, my most recent review, of course, is for Venom: The Last Dance. If you have not seen that, definitely check it out, people. If you haven't seen my trailer reaction to Hard Eyes, which is a horror film coming out next February, give it a whirl too as well. I'll be having my trailer reaction to the Thunderbolts up tomorrow, so keep your eyes out for that. I kind of waited a little while to get another trailer to do a little review of the trailer for that, so that's why wasn't up a couple months ago, but definitely you check that out. As you can see, my most recent shorts there, of course, of Primal Fear, Red One, Heretic here, Mr. Crockett, Galaxy Quest, etc. I'll be having more of those for you eventually here soon. Just no time right now, especially during the holiday season. Work is, work. But anyways, yeah, I'll be having more stuff up for you guys, more trailer reactions, more movie reviews, and all that kind of good stuff. And, just keep on trucking, keep on subscribing, keep on watching, and keep helping all of us from the MC's Bleeding Edge to Mr. Pop Culture Guy himself to me. We appreciate you guys.
Yes, thank you very much. I just want to thank you guys for joining tonight. It's been the last, and when we head out, let me just do this first, and then we'll head out. It's a trailer, and then we'll get out of here to torture you guys even more. God damn it, this system here. All right, we're gonna say goodbye. We're gonna show you a trailer, and then we're out of here. So let me do the trailer first.
We look at that day as the day we met the fifth member of our crew.
Gentlemen, assume your positions.
Thurgood, Brian, Kenny, and Scarface.
You guys feel like you're floating?
This weed is fantastic.
Their jobs stink.
You suck! You suck! You suck! You're cool!
Their sex life is zero.
How do I know you're not lying to me?
How do I know you got panties on, Mary Jane?
I don't.
And their lives are going nowhere.
I'm a professional meter hopper.
You have smoked yourself retarded.
Yo, who's on munchies tonight, yo? Make sure chocolate. Gotta have chocolate. Graham crackers. Pizzas, man. Celery, grape jelly, peanut butter, popcorn, beef jerky with water. Whole lot of water.
You must have been so hungry.
But now, they're in trouble.
I just gave him some candy and some chips and some pink popcorn and...
All we gotta do is raise 10% of 1 million, yo. Which by our calculations is fucking impossible, man.
The Food and Drug Administration are having us do a study.
1 pound of marijuana, and you can sign for it right here.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you. I got it. I know how we could get Kenny out. Weed, man. We'll sell weed.
Isn't that the custodian?
Maui, wowie.
When life is hard, I pick up that card with the smiley face.
This guy is weed crazy.
We're not drug dealers, we're fundraisers.
Go get me this Mr. Nice Guy.
Well, you know, I'd be from Jamaica, man.
What part of Jamaica?
Right near the beach. Boy!
From Universal Pictures comes a story that proves
I'm somebody's bitch.
Oh!
3 heads are better than 1.
Flip out, man. I just stopped smoking yesterday.
I remember when a dime bag cost a dime.
Half Baked.